Hello, this is Keerthi and I'll be demonstrating our project component 4. First, as you can see that we have already connected to the VPN and we have already started our Tomcat. And so this is our first page, that is the login server page. Here the input parameters we are giving are the username and the password. And we'll be passing it to our login page. And if the username and the password exists in the table, the output is printed as yes. And if they don't exist in the table, the output is printed as no. Let us see the output for this. As you can see, we have given the username and the password that exists in our table. So the output printed over here is yes. Let us go to our second JSP page. That is the info page, info.jsp page. Here the input we have given is the passenger ID, that is the PID, and we have made the connection to the database using these two statements. Then in our SQL query statement, we are printing the outputs. Here the outputs for this particular page are the passenger name and the total points collected. So the outputs are P name and total points. We are storing the output in this output variable and we are printing it using the statement. Let us look at the output now. So as you can see, we have given the output here. We have given the input, that is PID is equals to 1 and the respective details are printed. Let us go to our third page, that is the flights.jsp page. Here the input we have given is the PID, that is the passenger ID, and we have made the connection using these two statements. And for the SQL query statement, we are going to print, from that statement, we are going to print the flight ID, the flight miles, and the flight destination from the respective tables. Here we are going to store the respective outputs in this output variable, and we are going to print the output using this statement. Let us look at the output now. As you can see, we have given the input as PID is equals to 1 and the respective details are printed. Let us go to our next page, that is the flight details page. Here the input we have given is the flight ID, and as I have already said, we have made the connection to the database using those two statements. Here the outputs we are going to print are the departure date, the arrival date, the flight miles, the flight trip ID, then the trip miles. And we are going to save these respective outputs in this output variable. And we are going to print these outputs using the statement. Let us look at the outputs now. So as you can see, we have given the input as flight ID is equals to FL003, and we have got the appropriate output for this, and the output is separated by commas. And let us go to our next page, that is the awards ID page. Here the input we are giving is the passenger ID, and the outputs we are expecting from this SQL statement is the redemption history for the respective award ID. And let us look at the output now. Here we have given the input as PID is equals to 1 and the respective output is printed. Let us go to the next JSP page, that is the redemption details page. Here we are going to give two inputs. One is the passenger ID, then the other is the awards ID. Here we can see that here the outputs are the award description, then the points required, and redemption date and exchange center name. And we are going to store these outputs in the output variable, and we are going to print these outputs using the statement. Now let us look at the output. As you can see, we have given two inputs here. One is the award ID, that is 1, and the passenger ID is 1, and the respective output is printed. The next JSP page is the get passengers ID page. Here, the input we have given is the PID, and the output we are going to get. The output here is going to be the the passenger IDs of rest of the passengers, excluding the given passenger ID, and it is printed using the print statement. Let us look at the output now. Here, here you can see that, I'm sorry. So here you can see that the input we have given is PID is equals to 2, and you can see the output where the other passenger IDs, excluding the one we have given, are printed and they're separated using a hash. Now, the next JSP page we are looking at is the transfer points page. Here we are going to give three inputs. One is the source passenger ID, the other is the destination passenger ID, and the number of points that are to be transferred. In the first statement, in the first query statement, you can see that the number of points that we have selected are going to be deducted from the source ID, and in the next SQL statement you can see that the same number of points are going to be added to the destination passenger ID. And if the transfer is successful, we are going to see an output statement that is the transfer is successful. Let us look at the output now. Here you can see that we have given two passenger IDs and the number of points that are to be transferred between them.
Hi, this is Nikshiptha. Now I'm going to demonstrate about the Android application that we created. Here in the first main activity page, we are creating here the login page. So we took edit text and buttons to create the login page, and edit text is used for the username and the password, and button is used to click and to go to the next page. And then here we are giving the input the username and the password, and if that username and the password exist in our database, uh, then it is going to the next page when we click the button, which is returned here in this main activity 2.class. And then if the particular username or password is wrong, and it is going to show that the incorrect username or password for 1 second. And then coming to the next main activity 2 page. Here in this page, we have created text views and image views and buttons in order to display the details of that particular passenger, the redemption points, and then the image of that particular passenger, and then 5 buttons are used in order to go to the next page. And here the images are stored in the images folder, which is in the Tomcat. And then here the input is that passenger ID, and then for that particular passenger ID, the image is displayed, and then the points for that particular passenger ID is displayed. And then in order to go to the next page, we have created the statements like main activity 3.class, 4.class, and 5.class, and so on. And coming to the next main activity 3, and here we have created a text view and then text view pages in order to display the flight details of that particular passenger, the flight ID, flight miles, and the destination of that particular passenger. And then the flight details are collected from the JSP page, and then here is the URL. And then coming to the main activity 4, here we have created text view and then the spinner. Here in the spinner, we'll store the particular flight ID for that particular passenger ID. And then text view is used for the departure, arrival, and miles, and trip ID, and then trip miles. And then flights details are collected from the flight.jsp page using this URL. Coming to the main activity 5, here we have created text view spinner, and then here the spinner is used for uh, selecting the particular award ID for that particular passenger ID. And then here we are gonna display the redemption details, award description, redemption history of that particular passenger ID. And then this is the URL for the awards. Coming to the main activity 6, here we have used spinner in order to take the passenger ID as the input and select the passenger ID. And then here we need to enter the points that need to be transferred to another passenger ID, so that if that particular points are transferred, we'll get a message that the transfer is successful, or else we'll get an uh, uh, error message. So now I'm gonna show how our app is running. Now I'm giving the username and the password of our. Now it went to the second page, and then here it is showing the flight details of that particular first passenger. And then if we go to the all flights page, here it is showing the details of that particular flight, the arrival date, departure date, and then miles. And then if you go to the redemption history, here it is showing how that awards are redeemed, and then how many points are required for that redemption. And then here it is showing, if you select that particular passenger ID, and then how many points that need to be transferred. Since the points are transferred, it is showing that the transfer is successful. Like we can see that in our SQL page as well. Previously, the passenger 2 has the passenger 3 has 3 points. Now, as I added 1 point, the passenger 3 got 4 points. That's our demonstration. Thank you.